What the fuck? Fuck's going on with you? Hold on a second. Oh, there, now you're beautiful. Okay, so we are in tooling around on our bicycle, looking at cool shit. And there's a lot of cool shit to see. This building. These drunk Japanese businessmen. In Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. You live in Tokyo?
Oh, Tokyo.
You live in Tokyo? I'm asking! It's a question. It's just like a yes or a no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're Japanese businessmen.
Yeah.
Japanese businessmen. This weird bread dessert thing. It's like a loaf of bread they cut out the middle of and just filled with ice cream.
I've never actually eaten bread with ice cream before.
Apparently this bridge.
How can I do this? I can't believe they won't let me try. I can't believe they won't let me try.
The buildings along the street. The Nissan concept car that's in the lobby of the Nissan thing. The statue of a dragon that I found under a random bridge. Guys in boats, fishing. Random statue of a big fat lady holding a baby. These three naked chicks. As I understand it, it's a statue about peace and humanity. You could spend a lifetime studying the goings-on of a single park bench in this place. Cut to somewhere in the center of Tokyo, a park bench. Two bugs climb an iron vertical into ecstasy that will probably result in a new life. While nearby, Danny jumps rope to add to the weirdness and chaos of their copulation for his very own video. Oh yeah, I saw bugs doing it in a park. Twisted Japanese bugs. This is my very humble first opinion of La Tokyos in Japaner face. My first impression of the city of Tokyo is that it's mostly about people. Best I can tell, the subway system seems to be the veins and arteries. If the city was a person, the subway system would be the veins and arteries, and the people would be the blood cells. To use an analogy. To use an analogy. There, I said it. Well done. See, anytime you're riding and you come across a lot of people or a lively center where like everyone's hanging out, it's usually by a metro station. And anytime you find yourself in a zombie apocalypse, totally empty, barren streets, it's usually because you're nowhere near a metro station. Restaurants packed full of people. Here we have empty streets. Rapists lurking behind every corner. No space for restaurants, no problem. Stick them under a bridge. Nothing is open. And that is more or less how the city is organized. Beer. But what about the people? It seems to be a very preventative population. What I mean is, like, if something could be prevented, they take steps to prevent it. I was on a bicycle ride near the Imperial Palace, and there was a slight detour. And the detour was fairly obvious. There were like cones, and there was big signs, and there was a flag, and then there was a guy there with white gloves kind of pointing me and saying, oh, this way. And then I rode a little bit, and there was another guy at the other end of the detour with white gloves pointing me and saying, go that way. The direction I was supposed to go was fairly obvious, but the guy was there nonetheless, and I saw these people everywhere. And in the front of buildings or parking structures, you'll see like a guy with a baton kind of waving people through it. Safety first. That's what I always say. And here's like three guys standing around a manhole making sure that no one falls into the manhole, even though there's cones and bars and all that stuff. And there's a dude with flags directing traffic around the manhole. It's like super cautionary, super preventative, but it even extends further than that into the local restaurant. First meal I had here was at a steakhouse. It was like a real small little place. It had like signs where you can like read. They had a little thing for me to put my bag on, and then they had a napkin to cover the bag so that nothing would spill on it. And then they had an apron for me to put on in case I spilled something on me. And the waitress had this like plastic guard thing to prevent breath, I guess, from getting on the food or something. I don't know. It was like super ultra preventative, like let's not spill anything. Prevention. So I talked to the dude at the hostel I'm staying at, and I was just like, dude, he's like, what do you think of Japanese culture? And I was like, oh man, it's super preventative. And he's like, preventative? And then I looked it up and translated it for him, and he's just like, oh no, that's not preventative. People complain. People complaining about stuff, and that's why we put that out there so that people don't complain. It's like, oh, prevention nonetheless, preventing the complaining. I've cycled about 1.5 miles to an entirely different park. There's about 1 million of these in Tokyo. This one is quintessentially idyllic. Another thing that I've noticed whilst perusing around all of Tokyo is that the people here are overtly non-confrontational. Like if you're in a subway packed and you're standing there and everyone's kind of like jostling around and someone accidentally touches you, they'll turn around and just be like, I'm so sorry, so sorry, so sorry, sorry, so sorry. It's always like, always sorry, sorry. Crazy non-confrontational. Are almost Canadian in that sense. In stark contrast to their advertising, which is so confrontational. A complete barrage of your auditory and visual senses. It's disgusting and something needs to be done about it, okay? There, I said it, I said it. But I think that's all that we're gonna get to in this video. Tomorrow we're gonna try to get to a festival, and we've gotta buy some postcards. Because if you gotta be a member of the postcard club so I can mail you some postcards. Mailing postcards from Japan, happening tomorrow. Become a member of the postcard club, that's all I can say, that's all I can say. If you're not a member of the postcard club, I'm sorry, I don't know your address. And I certainly don't have any money to buy you stamps. But if you are a member of the postcard club, again, it's on its way from Japan. From Japan. I love you, my little M-drops. Do join us when I continue this very important work. Hard.